Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and what you're seeing on screen is probably what you think it is. I'm doing the iceberg video I announced on that one shorts video, so yeah, here it is, finally. And I put this iceberg together myself, so I'm just going to give myself credit, and also some credit to this iceberg that is my reference iceberg that I'll put on screen right now. So, yeah, here's the reference iceberg I was talking about. Yeah, so credit to whoever made this iceberg. It looks pretty good. Cool, I mean, God. So, yeah, you guys probably know those times where you just mispronounce a word, horribly. But, yeah, so back to the iceberg. Oh, yeah, and also a quick warning before we get into this iceberg. There is a little bit of disturbing stuff, so just a quick heads up before you click off the video when I get into that stuff. So yeah, let's get into the iceberg now. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys that this is a Newgrounds iceberg on Newgrounds. So yeah, let's get into it now. So the first entry I'm going to do on this iceberg is going to be Madness Combat. And basically, if you haven't watched it yet, probably go click off this video and go watch it right now. Basically, the whole thing is just the entire fight scene. Basically, it's really cool. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I'd go watch it myself. But yeah, it's basically just Newgrounds history, Madness Combat. So yeah. And now after that first entry, we go to the next entry, which is Friday Night Funkin'. Basically a game that probably most people have heard of by now. It was really popular when it came out, I guess. But yeah, it's still pretty popular. I like the game. It's pretty fun. And there will be more Friday Night Funkin' related stuff on this iceberg chart, so yeah, stay tuned for that maybe. But this is basically just a game on Newgrounds. I'd check it out too. But yeah, it's pretty fun. And the third entry on this iceberg chart is going to be rated A content, which is basically just content that is adult rated, basically. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. And there isn't really much to go with this entry. It's just that there's adult rated content out there on Newgrounds. That's a higher level than mature rated content. So yeah, I just like to throw that out there, that it's a thing. The next entry up on this list is Tank Man. Basically, it's just a really funny series with these. It's basically war. The entire thing is kind of just war and just funny stuff. Overall, just funny stuff. I'd go watch it myself. It's another piece of Newgrounds history, and yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's really funny. I'd go watch it. But yeah. So on to the next one. Logos. So basically this entry is just an entry on their logo. So basically the guy that made Tank Man, I'm not gonna say his name because it'll be in a different tier of the iceberg, but basically, the guy that made Tank Man made the logo for Newgrounds before he made Tank Man. So basically, the thing about that is that he basically thought it was cool, I guess, and then he made it into a series called Tank Man. Yeah, like I said, I'd go watch it, or if you've never been introduced to the website, then probably go onto the website. Yeah, so that's pretty much all for this this entry, God. And now the last entry on tier 1 of this iceberg is going to be Pico Day. Basically, it's just a day to like celebrate Pico and stuff on Newgrounds and all that. So there will be more Pico related stuff on this list. So I'd stick around for that. But yeah, so Pico Day is basically just a day that's celebrated once a year in Newgrounds. And it's basically every April something. I can't really remember. But yeah, it's every April something. So yeah, that's pretty much all for this tier. So yeah. So now we are going to get into tier 2 of the iceberg. So yeah, let's get into it now. So the first entry on tier 2 is Krinkles. So basically he's the guy that animated Madness Combat and basically just made up Madness Combat, which is really cool. His real name is Matt Jolly, and he's a very jolly man. But yeah, so basically Krinkles, also known as Matt Jolly, he has a YouTube channel as well. It has the entire Madness Combat series. Like I said, on the first entry, go check out Madness Combat. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for this entry. So next up on the iceberg chart is JohnyUtah. He is the guy that animated Tankman. And yeah, so that there's not much to go into this guy, but he also is the guy that made the logo for Newgrounds, I believe. Unless that's wrong, correct me in the comments if that's actually wrong, because I forgot whether if it was him that made it or just someone else. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah. So next up on the list is Newgrounds HQ. So basically, Newgrounds has an HQ somewhere in Pennsylvania. I can't remember the exact location, but it is somewhere in Pennsylvania. And yeah, so that's a fun little fact to throw out there. That Newgrounds, that tiny little website, has a HQ, a full HQ full of working people. Which, yeah, it's kind of cool. So next up on our list is going to be Nene. Basically, it isn't actually what you think it is. It's not the song. It's actually another character from the Pico games, from Picos stuff. Basically, that's what it is. Nene is a let's just say angry Asian girl. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that. But she is from like the other Pico games, like Pico's School and stuff. So yeah. So the next thing on our iceberg is Darnell, another character from the Pico games, such as Pico's School again, which will basically just be on the next tier. But yeah, so basically Darnell, same description, Nene, but just not Asian, and also likes to play with fire. So yeah. So the next entry on our list is Pico, which is basically the main antagonist of Pico's School. He's also the dude that you face off in Friday Night Funkin' Week 3. So yeah, there isn't much to go into this character. I may or may not do a video on him. I don't know. I'm probably not, but chances are I'm not. Okay, but yeah. So basically, Pico, he's like a guy that carries around guns, and yeah. that's pretty much it. So the next entry on our list is Original Meat Boy. Basically, Super Meat Boy is the full name of the game, and basically, this entry on the iceberg is probably just like, basically it's saying that Meat Boy was a thing on Newgrounds before it was pushed up into like the actual video game industry, such as Xbox, but yeah, Meat Boy used to be a game on Newgrounds instead of Xbox. I don't think you can play it on Newgrounds anymore because obviously they want you to buy it. But yeah, so that's basically the thing here. And that's all for this entry on the iceberg. And so the next entry on our list is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tom Fulp. The man who created it all, started it all, I guess. But yeah, so he's the guy that created Newgrounds and also Pico's school. Basically, he created Pico, Darnell, and Nene. And he created Newgrounds. So yeah, that's pretty much all for this entry on the iceberg. So the next entry on our iceberg is stick fights. Basically, this is just an entry that is basically just talking about like stick fighting animations and all that. Most of them are just really bloody, and yeah, they're really cool though. And even I make stick fighting animations in 2021, which is kind of fascinating to me that I still do that, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so a lot of Newgrounds animations back in the day were probably just a ton of stick fighting animations. And stick fighting animations are like really popular. So yeah, that's what this entry is about. So the last entry of this tier of the iceberg is Dad and Me. So basically this is a game that Dan Paladin and Tom Fulp made. And it was on Newgrounds, I think. And I think it might still be on Newgrounds. I don't know a ton about Dad and Me. It's just a thing that I know about. But yeah, that's all. That's all for this tier of the iceberg. So on to the next tier of the iceberg. Okay, so the first entry on the third tier of the iceberg is Madness Fanimations, or better known as fan animations. Basically, some of the animations are good animated, but don't make sense. I don't know, Realm, I guess, because for some reason the main antagonist of it is named Kelzed, but the animator is also named Kelzed, which doesn't make any sense. But also White Hank, another very well animated Fanimation series, but also, again, doesn't make sense at all. Like, why would he be named like White Hank? Why is that a thing? Like, it's pointless, honestly. I just think it's pointless. But yeah, so it's pretty much all for this iceberg. Not this iceberg, but this entry. Also, last part of this entry is that some of the fan animations are either terribly animated or just actually very good animated. So yeah. So the next entry on this iceberg is going to be It's Spooky Month. Basically, it's just a web animated series made by a guy named a Spanish creator, Sir Palo. But his channel is in English. And he's actually not on this iceberg. I forgot to put him on this iceberg, which I probably should have. But yeah, so It's Spooky Month is basically where Skid and Pump came from. Yeah. so that's pretty much all for this entry on the iceberg. So the next entry on this iceberg is going to be Newgrounds tank. Basically what the Newgrounds tank is, it's basically just like the tank in the logo that Tankman is driving. So yeah, that's pretty much all for this entry. So yeah. And so next up on this iceberg is going to be Pico's School. You know that game I was talking about earlier? It's basically a game that Tom Fulp created back in like the early 2000s. Actually no, not even the 2000s. Like I think he made it in 1999, and the game got really bad backlash for its relation to Columbine, which I will probably make a video on in a long time. But yeah, so that's pretty much all that goes to this entry. So the next entry on this iceberg, and the last one on this tier, is going to be Newgrounds Rumble. So yeah, this is basically a game that was created back in like 2008, I think, and you can't really play it anymore. Like I tried playing it with the Newgrounds player, but it just won't work. So yeah, but it's basically a game where like a ton of Newgrounds players, like a ton of Newgrounds characters, are basically just fighting to the death. It's basically just Super Smash Bros. But with Newgrounds characters. So yeah. So the first entry of the new tier is going to be Newgrounds banned. Basically, I think this is just an entry talking about that you can get banned off of Newgrounds, like from even viewing the site, I think, like permanently, which I wouldn't want that to happen to me, because every once in a while I go on the site and check out some stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty much all for this entry. So the next one on this iceberg, is going to be Pico. Basically, Pico, I think is like, I think the actual guy is like, I think there's a theory that the guy that is Pico is dead, or that's not a theory. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I feel bad for Pico because I think he's dead. But yeah. But I'm pretty sure the theory that he's dead is just a theory. Or it's a rumor. I don't know. But yeah. So that's pretty much it for this entry. So the next entry on this iceberg is bland. Basically, this is just a fact that if your game or animation is terrible, or it just has a terrible rating, which is why I say terrible, it will get banned off of the site, which means it will get deleted off of the site and you can't repost it. And if you do repost it, then you get banned. Trust me, I have personal experience. Except the fact that you can get banned from uploading a bland submission is kind of broken, because I've tried uploading something that was not bland, and I say was not bland, yet I still get banned from it, which is really dumb. But yeah, so that's basically this entry. Okay, so next up on the list is Wade Fulp. Basically, this is Tom Fulp's brother, that not too many people know about. Yeah, so not that many people know about Wade Fulp. He's just basically kind of there. But yeah, so that's this entry. Tankman's real name. Basically, I think it's revealed that his real name is Sergeant John, I think. I can't remember exactly, but Yeah, so, Tankman's real name. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Newgrounds player. Okay, so basically this is what I was talking about with Newgrounds Rumble. Newgrounds player. So basically, because Flash doesn't exist anymore and like Flash player doesn't exist anymore, without Newgrounds player, you wouldn't actually be able to play all those old Flash games, which is why Newgrounds Rumble runs on Newgrounds player. So basically, it's only playable if you have Newgrounds player. It's just a cool fact that not many people know about. Again, kind of like Waitful, but yeah. So the next entry on this iceberg is going to be Pogo. So basically, this was originally going to be Pico's name before Tom Fulp realized that the URL user page like thingy was like pogo.com was in use at the time. So then he just quickly changed it to Pico instead of Pogo, which honestly was probably a change for the best, because I think the name Pogo is ugly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this entry. So the next thing on our list is going to be P-Bot. Basically, P-Bot is just like a bot, basically, that just moderates Newgrounds, I guess. So yeah, there isn't much to know about this. I'd go do my own research on P-Bot if there's anything I'm leaving out, or just leave it in the comments below, I don't know. But yeah, that's all for this entry. And now the next entry on our list, and the last entry of Tier 4, I believe, is the Newgrounds podcast. Yes, Newgrounds actually has a podcast. And this is probably just another one of those facts that not really many people know. So yeah, that's pretty much all this tier done. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the first entry of this tier is going to be Ninja Muffin 99. Basically, this is like probably explaining the fact that he kind of messed up Newgrounds a little bit because of Friday Night Funkin', and you'll see why in the next entry. So yeah. But the fact that he actually destroyed Newgrounds as a site, I do my own research on that because I don't even know how that'd be true. I mean, he did create a great game, but the game has a terrible fan base. So yeah. I'd do some of your own research on if he actually destroyed me. So the next entry is going to be Week 7, which is basically just something about Friday Night Funkin', which is basically that Week 7 crashed the entire Newgrounds site, which is probably why Ninja Muffin technically destroyed Newgrounds if the drop of Week 7 literally crashed the entire site, which is kind of insane. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So the next entry is Pico's brother, which is probably like just in relation to that Pico's brother is probably Pico, even though that's probably just most likely not true. That's probably just a theory or a rumor, like I said when I was doing the Pico entry. I don't know if it was a rumor or a theory or not, but yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, this entry on the iceberg, so yeah. So the next entry on this iceberg is Newgrounds Jams. This is pretty self-explanatory, as Newgrounds has some game jams, movie jams, I don't really know, music jams, any kind of jam that you can think of that is possible to make on Newgrounds, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much this entry. And now the next entry is Ed's World Non-Canon. Basically, this is just in relation to some of the episodes of Ed's World are just not canon, I guess. I don't really watch Ed's World, so yeah, I don't have much information about this. But I just go watch Ed's World to find out about this. But yeah, okay. Okay, so the next entry on this iceberg is going to be Salad Fingers. Basically, it's just a really disturbing web series animated by someone I don't actually know the name of. But yeah, it's just a really disturbing web series, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this entry of the iceberg. Okay, wait. So before we get into the next entry, if you were watching till this far, please like and subscribe for some more iceberg videos. I actually do put some effort into this kind of stuff. Like, I put a lot of effort into this so far, and I really hope you're enjoying it. So, yeah, back to the video. So, next up on the list is going to be Sir Tom 93. So, basically, this kid was arrested at his school for attempted arson, and it's a very long story, but I'm just going to say this. So basically, he made a Newgrounds post saying that he was going to launch an arson attack on his school in very violent ways. So then some people on Newgrounds found this, and then they basically helped out to arrest this guy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. So next up on the list of this iceberg chart is going to be Live Corpse. Basically, I don't know much about this guy, but that he committed just so I don't get in trouble with YouTube and so that this doesn't get taken down, I'm just gonna say slip and slide. But it's a very sad story, and yeah, so I do my own research on this guy, but yeah. Okay, so next up on our list is going to be Jazza. Basically, the reason he's on this list is because it's very, not very known, but he actually got really popular off of Newgrounds, and then, shortly after, I guess after, YouTube released, then he moved over to YouTube, and now he's really popular. I'd go check him out. He's a really good artist, and yeah. So that's pretty much it for this entry. Okay, so the last entry on this tier is going to be Newgrounds Weapons. Basically, this is just in relation to the fact that the more you level up, the more weapons that you get per level, which is pretty self-explanatory if you really think about it, but yeah. So, on to the next. Okay, so the next entry on this list, actually the first entry of this new tier, is going to be Newgrounds' YouTube channel. Yes, Newgrounds has a YouTube channel. It's not very widely known that it has a YouTube channel, but it's out there. It's just kind of there. So yeah, on to the next entry. So, next up on our list is going to be Happy Tree Friends Origin. Basically, I feel like Happy Tree Friends originated from Newgrounds just because the nature of some of the animations on Newgrounds are pretty brutal. So, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, honestly. Yeah. Okay, so the next entry on this iceberg, and the second to last one, is going to be Kikupon. Basically, it's just a very lesser known thing. Yeah, it's just a lesser known person on Newgrounds. And basically, the reason I put him on the list is because this one time, one of the people that works on Friday Night Funkin' is made an animation called Jeff Speaks to Little Pico. It's literally just audio from like Pico and JohnyUtah. So yeah. So now it is the last entry of the whole iceberg, the Binding of Isaac. Basically, I feel like this entry on the iceberg is just saying that it's very not known that the Binding of Isaac possibly could have originated from Newgrounds, because there is Binding of Isaac related stuff on Edmund McMillan's page on Newgrounds. So yeah, that's it for this video, and hope you enjoyed. Man, that was a pretty long video. I hope you enjoyed though, and if you did, please just press the subscribe button. It's completely free, and according to YouTube statistics, not even that many people are subscribed. I will put up the statistics right now. Yeah, you see those numbers up there? Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. It should actually be 100% subscribed and 0% not subscribed. So please subscribe, because I actually put effort into these videos, and yeah. It's completely free. Just do it, okay? Actually, I'm gonna stop begging for subscribers. That's being really stupid. Let's get real here. I'm kind of being really dumb. Oh well, I'm just gonna end the video right here. And if you did enjoy the video, just tap the like button, okay? It's that easy. But okay, on that note, I'm gonna end it for good. So, goodbye.